Oh, Nintendo just got even worse? Yeah, I saw this shit. This fucking Nintendo sucks, dude.
Talking about Nintendo being an evil, soulless corporation, as well as out of touch, archaic, and just downright goofy for the way that they treat online content creators like criminals.
Bro, come on. Come on. As much as I love playing baby games, and Nintendo has that shit on lock, and I do love Switch in general, even though the Joy-Cons are absolute dog water. Okay? Their treatment of people who utilize their IP is so fucking gross. It's so insane. Now that I have a Steam Deck, I do realize that maybe Switch isn't the greatest invention. And honestly, God, I love the Steam Deck so much. But honestly, like the way that Nintendo operates is so gross, dude. They are taking down content creators that have made modded Nintendo content, like Point Crow I saw, right? Like they are aggressively DMCA, aggressively maintaining their IP and shitting on content creators that literally utilize their IP. Like, it's so weird. They're making your content more popular, you fucking assholes. So fucked up. How was Moon Moon able to stream Super Mario Maker? Because he's not modding it. And then now there's a guy who I think like created an emulator or something, and the dude went to jail, and now for the rest of his life he has to give 20 to 30%, I think, of his income that he ever generates back to Nintendo for the rest of his fucking life. They're banning unmodded content too?
Criminals. Most recently, they issued 2 strikes to a YouTuber named Point Crow because he made videos on Breath of the Wild that featured modded content. And in the eyes of Nintendo, that is a sin more unforgivable than murder. So they threw the book at him. They were coming with the meat. They tried to give him the business. They issued 2 strikes, and it wasn't just modded content they targeted, by the way. They also just targeted other videos as well on other games. A lot.
No, that guy didn't. He was part of Pirating Ring selling modding equipment. That's why that guy got sued. Yeah, I know. Which is still like fucking lame. Like come on, man. I don't give a fuck about pirating. You're in the wrong community if you think I'm going to be like, wow, that's really fucked up. I can't believe he did that. Yeah, who cares? Suck my dick to Nintendo, okay? Yeah. And even if you are like, no, sorry, I'm Mr. Nintendo. Nintendo, my uncle is John Nintendo, and I'm Mr. Nintendo, and I think that's fucked up. You still don't think it's like insanely excessive that he went to jail, he served the time, and now he has to pay? Like they levied his they levied his wages basically for the rest of his life.
A lot of it did feature mods, but some of them were just vanilla gameplay videos that they absolutely had a conniption over. Nintendo for a long time has historically shown that they hate their fans and absolutely despise when people play their games or enjoy their games in ways that they didn't plan for or in ways that they don't approve of. So for Point Crow showing mods and having fun making content around mods, they, started screaming bah humbug and shaking their fist at the clouds, and then hired their legal team of assassins to do as much damage to him as possible. And if it was up to Nintendo, they probably would have publicly hung Point Crow to make an example out of him for daring to play their games in a way they didn't intend for people to play them. Would have had him face...
No, literally, like Nintendo in the old school universe will be out here fucking putting Point Crow on like one of those like old timey things where your hands have to like hang by your head like this. And then they'd be like, throw all of your tomatoes at this person. Like you have to pelt him if you want to be able to play any of our games that we're releasing. Also, the games are still the same games for the most part.
Face the fucking firing squad. The reason I'm even mentioning all of this before talking about today's story is because it's only been 3 days and Nintendo has already upped the ante on how evil they can be and how unbelievably cruel they are. Like they made, I made a claim in that video that they don't listen to the community, they don't care about, negative reputation that they have or community backlash. They don't listen to it, they just kind of brush it off like it's just... little squeaking dog toys that they can just ignore. They don't care what the people are saying. They're not listening. But now, I'm almost convinced they must
Remember during Reactgate when everybody shit on you for correctly saying that even gaming content is subject to copyright? Oh, fuck, dude. I do remember that, actually. Thank you for reminding me that I was right. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. I was right. I've been right. I am right. I was right. And I'm still right. Of course, I am. But it doesn't change the reality that people are fucking stupid. Guess what, though? This shit is incredibly fucked up, right? It's super fucked up. We're in agreement. Okay, good. Oh.
Must have heard what the community was saying about how evil they were and said, oh, you think that's bad? Well, watch this. And then they went even harder into degeneracy. So, what they've done, or what was revealed to the public today, is that they have completely ruined a man's life. And I'm not exaggerating. They are putting a man in...
Nintendo would destroy an Italian orphanage if there was a kid named Luigi in there. That's a Twitter joke, but it's true. But it's still a Twitter joke, but still, it's very true. Yes. If an Italian village had an orphanage where there was one kid named Mario and another brother named Luigi, it's over. They would drone strike the village. They would eviscerate it. It would be reduced to nothing but ashes. And the rest of the world would let it happen. Because, like, the way that they arrested this guy, like, why the fuck does Imperial Japan have its tentacles in the United States of America? Like, I don't understand how a Japanese corporation from like 1883 could literally direct American law enforcement. It's insane.
In debt to them for the rest of his life. There's a guy named Garry Bowser, and I'm not making this up. This isn't an alias. His name is fucking Garry Bowser. This sounds like fanfic. This sounds like the plot to the new Mario Bros. Movie. Like, it actually sounds made up, but it's real. Garry Bowser was working with a company called Team Executor. They were a hacking group that would hack consoles for profit, and one of their biggest products was for Switch. They would basically jailbreak the Switch and they'd sell it and make money off it, and Garry Bowser was one of the prominent members of this team, allegedly. And a couple of years ago, he got caught, and he served 40 months in jail. His time in jail is coming to a conclusion now, and he's about to be released, but he's not off the hook yet. In fact, he's on to an even deeper hook. One that is going to be a life of servitude to Nintendo, because they are coming after him for an additional $10 million plus that he will have to pay back over the course of the rest of his life. He is going to have to forfeit 25 to 30% of his income every single month to Nintendo until he can pay off his $10 million plus debt to them, because he was part of that hacking group. That is a legitimate, life-ruining obligation that he will...
Why is modifying hardware you paid for and then selling it illegal?
have to fulfill. Now, I want to make it clear, Garry Bowser is not a hero. He is not a saint. He was part of a group that was knowingly...
I disagree. I think he is a hero.
...breaking the law for profit. He wasn't doing anything, just. He wasn't some, holy figure, breaking the rules.
Dude, modding and selling modding equipment is infinitely more ethical than drop shipping. It's infinitely more ethical than being a scalper, okay? But still illegal. Straight up. They literally are making equipment so that other people can, enjoy it. Yeah, they're making money off of it, but yeah, they're putting labor into it. What the fuck? It's literally modding a car and then selling it? No, it's not. Because Nintendo makes money off the IP that they maintain. They don't just make money off the hardware. They make money off the software that they sell that's only compatible, unless you have some certain emulators or something like that, that is only playable on their own hardware. So here's the reality, okay? They want to make more money. You know what it would be like? John Deere. John Deere, and this is actually a huge problem in the farming community, John Deere doesn't just sell farm equipment. They don't just sell heavy industrial tools. They sell the software. They basically license the tools for you, And then you have to constantly keep paying for the software over and over again. And they can actually shut that shit down from afar if you choose not to do so. Okay? So this would be like right to repair laws that are pretty popular on the internet. I'm a very big advocate for it as well. Like, if you wanted to repair your John Deere tractor and you didn't want to take it to the fucking, John Deere factory, okay, and not get cut out of the tractor subscription that you have, that would be the equivalent here. If someone was like, hey, I know how to repair these shits, don't worry about it. Let's break that goddamn John Deere tractor. Let's jailbreak it and let's repair it. Let's work on it. Okay? It would be like that. And then they sold their tool that jailbreaks the John Deere tractors. But because John Deere's revenue also revolves around consistently extending that subscription to you, they would go absolute bananas mode on you. Okay? They would not want that. It's fucked up. Still illegal. So no, I do think that it's absolutely bullshit that these guys got in any way, shape, or form. Oh, this is the mod chip that they made. Look at that. They had a nice little fucking sign on it and shit. Like, look, they printed stuff on it. I think someone wanting to get the new Zelda is a bit different than a farmer's livelihood. Wait, what? The principle is still the same, dude. What are you talking about? Nintendo sells you hardware and they make money off the software that they sell you. If you want to fucking, if you don't want to pay for the software, if you don't have money for the software, you can just buy an emulator, or you can, get this thing and you can play games for free, right? Isn't that how this works? But yeah, go ahead. Defend Nintendo's bottom line and say that, like, yo, no, actually, new games or even old games are well worthy of the $70 because they have a monopoly on it. It's only on their systems. It's only playable on their own systems, so they control the prices. They keep the prices the way that they do always. Also, by the way, once again, I just want to point out to everybody that I was right with respect to Nintendo being such aggressive DMCA copyright holders that they struck down our boy Point Crow. It's really fucked up. So remember that. They can come for your content as well. Ridiculous. We in the streaming industry quite literally utilize the shared structure of open source still to this day. OBS is open source. Half of the fucking bots that we use on this channel are either fan-made or made by other people in members of the community. It is literally collective action that runs this entire space. So whenever I see people that look at that collective action, that look at that open source software, that look at all of this and say, oh no, we actually need to put a price tag on all this. We actually need to make sure that you can't legitimately utilize IP. IP is actually really important. It's profoundly important. We need to maintain IP protections. It's so stupid. I find that to be ridiculous. Aiden's birthday in UK land, by the way. Happy birthday, Aiden. There you go. Fossabot is another example of this. A lot of you hate Fossabot, but without it, we would not be able to have normal free flow communication in this fucking chat because some of you are unhinged demons. Chat Arena was made by a Forsen boy. Many of the things that we take for granted are made by people in Forsen's community.
For the benefit of everyone, they were very much in it just to make money off of all of this. He knew it was wrong, and what he's done is illegal. But I would argue spending 40 months in jail is punishment that fits the crime. I don't think they needed to add on an additional fucking generational debt that he and his grandkids wouldn't even be able to pay. Now, of course, his family's not going to be obligated to pick up the tab on the $10 million plus that he owes.
Yeah, come on, now it's not college, it's not student loan debt, you know what I mean?
When he dies. But you get the point. The amount of money that Nintendo is forcing him to pay back over the course of his lifetime is one that could never be fulfilled by him and his kids working and his grandkids working and maybe even his great-grandkids working. It is an absurd punishment. Once again, I understand what he did was wrong and he's not a good guy, but this is just beyond excessive. Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's now face-fucking one random average guy in particular, forcing him to pay back a debt that he will never be able to repay. That $10 or $14 million means absolutely nothing to Nintendo. They wiped their ass with that amount of cash. Meanwhile, that means that Garry Bowser will never be able to live a normal life. He's going to be constantly paying this back forever. He's going to die with negative $10 million to his name. Like, he won't even be able to afford a coffin to be buried in. Like, it's just so far into the realm of lunacy here. And I actually imagine Nintendo celebrating this victory with handshakes all around and then laughing at the misery of Garry Bowser, who now has to send 25 to 30% of his income to this company every single month. Where once again, I imagine once they receive those checks, they throw it right in the trash can and forget about it because that amount of money is completely meaningless to them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's about
the situation
sending a
is
message.
wild, but this is kind of the story, like the general overview of it. I went over it more on stream, so I'll just play some clips.
Wait, this has to be illegal, right? What Nintendo's doing? No, man. Of course it's not illegal what Nintendo's doing. How? We live in a capitalist organization of the economy, okay? That means whatever capital owners say goes, okay? Rigid IP protections is a big part of that, okay? That's it. They could literally enslave this man for the rest of his life. And as long as they're not like, oh, it's a little bit much, Nintendo, how about you don't do that? You know, they can get away with it. So here's the thing. Piracy is more illegal than hiring child labor in this country. We talked about this the other day. A fun, but not really so fun fact is that piracy in this country can put you in prison for longer and has a harsher punishment in the form of a financial, a fine. The maximum penalty for child labor violation, which is, say, illegally employing children, is a fine of $15,138 per child with no prison time. The maximum penalty for pirating a film is up to $250,000 and 3 years in prison. So remember that when you make an argument about piracy or whatever the fuck, remember that the law is designed. The law is designed in a way to protect corporate interests. That's it. Anyway, I understand that it's illegal. I just don't personally care, and I don't think you should either. I think it is crazy to care about this. I don't know. I wish to live in a world where we, do art for the sake of art and not necessarily for the sake of financial compensation. All right. I'm gonna end it here. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe.